A bloody weekend is coming to a close here in the United States. New data from the Gun Violence Archive shows there were more than 150 shootings over the past 24 hours. The violence spanning the country from coast to coast, including a handful of shootings in Washington, D.C. and Chicago, but also in smaller cities like Rio, Wisconsin and Kalamazoo, Michigan. This map shows all of the cities that saw shootings since yesterday. In Chicago, 2 police officers were shot overnight. One of them died. The city's mayor now calling for peace in the city. Reporter Dana Rebick with our Chicago station WGN joins us now live. And Dana, what do we know about the officer who was killed?
Well, she's 29 years old, Officer Ella French, and she has been with the Chicago Police Department for the last 3.5 years, working with a community safety team within the police department that focused on hotspot areas of crime in the city. Now, this other officer is here at the hospital still fighting for his life, and today we learned the 3 suspects are in custody.
I am here as mayor to declare today an official day of mourning for our city. Tragedy has struck again.
29-year-old Chicago police officer Ella French shot and killed in the line of duty last night.
Officer down, shots fired at the police.
Officer French and her 2 partners were conducting a traffic stop just after 9 p.m. at West 63rd and South Bell in West Englewood on a vehicle with 2 men and 1 woman inside. A male passenger opened fire on the officers, shooting Officer French and her male partner. Officers returned fire, striking the offender. He was taken to Advocate Christ Medical Center in Oak Lawn. Both wounded officers were transported to the University of Chicago Medical Center. Fellow officers gathered outside last night. There was also a police procession to the Cook County Medical Examiner's office.
Despite the shock, grief, pain, and sorrow we feel this morning, our brothers and sisters in blue put this uniform on each and every day. They go to work risking everything to serve the people of Chicago.
2 male suspects were arrested at the scene. A 3rd female suspect was taken into custody around 4:30 this morning.
People of goodwill in the city, I urge you, we must come together. We must unite. We have a common enemy. It's the guns and the gangs.
I'm asking Chicago to wrap their arms around our police officers today and encourage them to continue their great work in protecting us all.
So far this year in Chicago, there have been 38 police officers in the city who have been shot at, 11 of them hit by that gunfire, and now this 1 female officer who has died.
Now to New Orleans, where 5 people were shot in a popular tourist area. It marks the 2nd week in a row that violence erupted on Bourbon Street. Reporter Kenny Lopez with our New Orleans station WGNO has the details.
Another weekend of fun on Bourbon Street ended in tragedy, with 5 people being shot and injured. This time it happened around 2:30 Sunday morning on the 700 block of Bourbon Street. A 17-year-old suspect was arrested in connection to the shootings.
It's crazy. People come out here to have a good time, and now they're scared for their lives. You know, it ain't right.
Unfortunately, this scene is becoming all too common on Bourbon Street. Just last weekend, around the same time, 5 people were injured after being shot at the intersection of Bourbon and Orleans Avenue.
They just need more police out here to make sure this doesn't happen again.
At an NOPD press conference earlier this week, NOPD said that they are short-staffed and they know they need to address this ongoing violence problem on Bourbon Street.
The agreement between the city of New Orleans and the Louisiana State Police expired last year, so we're now having to work in a different capacity. We have to be creative. We have to be innovative in our deployment.
Still, tourists say it's a shame.
It's just nuts that a place like this where they thrive off the tourist money, the people coming here to vacation, isn't policed enough to keep that out, you know? I mean, we're walking through the bloodstained concrete right now. That's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. It's a great city. It's fun. And if they could just figure out how to stop this from happening, it would be much better.
The nation's most populous city, police are investigating a handful of shootings that left nearly a dozen people hurt, including 2 teenagers. Reporter Jennifer Bisram with our New York City station, WPIX, explains what happened.
It was another violent weekend here in New York City, where we are right now, the 7-5 precinct in Brooklyn, where about a mile away, 5 people were shot. 2 of those people lost their lives. Detectives say that wasn't the only shooting that took place this weekend. 11 people were shot in a span of just 4 hours. Crime scene tape could be seen on several blocks in Brooklyn, Manhattan, and the Bronx this weekend.
This got to stop. It's got to stop. I mean, innocent people getting killed over stupid things. It's nonsense. Put the guns down.
Detectives in Brooklyn holding a news conference Sunday afternoon after 5 people were shot just after midnight near Georgia and Wortman Avenues in East New York. Homicide detectives saying 2 36-year-old men died from gunshot wounds in the head and face. The 2 others who were shot, ages 51 and 32, are in critical condition.
This location is called the Brooklyn Garden, where there was a gathering of about 150 people having a party.
And bullets weren't just flying in East New York this weekend. Police say 6 other people were gunned down Saturday night in just 3 hours.
Please, we need your help. If you've seen something, if you know anything, please call. These calls are strictly confidential, and the information can help us solve this crime.
And police say they are looking to all the shootings that occurred late last night. The motives are still unclear. Investigations are far from over. In Brooklyn, New York, Jennifer Bisram, News Nation.